So we are starting through the Institute's anthem.
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritangamaya
ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritam gamaya
asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Sir, today's Webint is on incubating and nurturing cooperative ecosystem, progressing towards self-sustainable economic development. It's a part of the Vasudaiva Kutumbakam. This is Webint Series 2. So now I am requesting to give the welcome address by our chairman of the committee, Sri Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay sir. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. CMA Sumita Chakraborty, my very respected President, CMA Vijendra Sharma, our esteemed speakers, Srinivas Raghavan and Mr. Sumit Niyogi. Both are, Mr. Sumit Niyogi is a qualified cost and management accountant working as a GM in West Bengal State Cooperative Bank, and Srinivas Raghavan sir is our esteemed, for the institute. He is a role model, always coming for the various, resources which is knowledge pack. He is helping us. Srinivas Raghavan sir, recently he has got a great recognitions in the banking system, in the risk management area. I congratulate him for his excellent achievement, and he has made us profession proud. President sir, we are really having such type of personality to us, and we will be listening from him. He's an expert in cooperative banking system, and all my other fellow colleagues who are here, and all the attendees, respected attendees. Today is the first Webint of this series, and this first Webint I found myself privileged enough for giving me an opportunity by my president to work as a chairman of this cooperative development board. And this board has taken, they have started as a baby of the institute, but very strong baby, because this Webint, you can understand, incubating and nurturing cooperative economic system, progressing towards self-sustainable economic development. This is a topic, I think, one of the topic which much talked about in today's time. Our honorable Minister for Cooperative and Amit Shahji has given huge, emphasis on this development of this cooperative sectors, and our president has taken right steps for formation of this board. And I am sure today's deliberations by our learned speakers will definitely give a fillip to us to work more for the cause of the society. As you know, the cost accountants in many states are having the recognitions in the various facets: performance audit, financial audit, concurrent audit, many other audits. And especially now, on the advent of this, G20 countries presidential, presidency from our honorable Prime Minister Narendra Das Modi ji, this cooperative is going to be another playing a major role in this ecosystem. So far as the sustainability is concerned, cooperative has to play a very major role here itself. And I understand that we will be taking it forward. And I again convey my heartiest welcome to all our esteemed speakers, especially to my president, who has made his time possible for this Webint. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please unmute, madam. Madam, please unmute.
Thank you, sir. And now I am requesting the president, sir, to give his address.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Respecting the chief guest of the day, Shri Samit Nagoji ji, GM of Credit, the West Bengal State Cooperative Bank Limited. Today's learned speaker, CMA Shri Nivas Raghavan sir, and my very heartily very cheerful chairman, Shri Chitran Chattopadhyay, and all my professional colleagues and respected delegates to the viewers. The theme of India G20 presiding the Vasudaiva Kutumbakam is meaning the one earth, one family, and one future. It is a drawn from a ancient Sanskrit text of the Mahapanishad. Essentially, the theme affirms the value of all life, human, animal, plant, and metabolism, and their interconnectivity on the planet Earth, in the water and the universe. For India, the G20 presiding is also marks the beginning of Amrit Kal, a 25-year period beginning from the 75th anniversary of its independence on 15th August 2022, leading to a centric on its independence towards the futuristic prospects and inclusive of developed society, distinguished by a human-centric approach and scope. A new revolution taking place in the cooperative sector in India. The Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji remarked as he pointed out that it is not limited to some state or some region of the country anymore. He informed that the tax-related reliefs have been given to the corporate sector in this year budget also, and which will beneficial to new corporate society engaged in manufacturing. He further added that TDS will not be levied on the cash withdrawal up to 3 crore by the corporate society. The Honorable Prime Minister also stated the various decisions are being continuously taking the budget to promote the agriculture sector so that nation become the Atmanirbhar and the money for imports can reach our farmers. The Honorable Union Minister of Cooperative Minister Shri Amit Shah ji said that Government of India had decided to form a 3 multi-state cooperative society at national level. That is multi-state cooperative seed society, multi-state cooperative organic society, and multi-state cooperative export society. He is further stating that National Society for Organic Product will improve and provide the unlimited opportunity to Indian farmers to fulfill and growing demand for the organic product in the world. Along with this, it is an act to act as umbrella organization for testing and certification of the products and for sorting, branding, and selling them. He further stated that cooperative not only the sector that touches the core of the people, it has potential to bring down the positive change to their life. It was ignored for many years, and first time the Honorable Prime Minister Sir, led by Shri Narendra Modi ji, has started to strengthen it. The goal of new constituted cooperative development board is to set up by the Institute of Kutumbakam of India is to create a roadmap and a guidance to develop a sustainable growth in the cooperative ecosystem in India. I hope that the Webint on the topic will be very, very remarkable change to the knowledge of our members or the participant. I must congratulate Shri Chitran Chattopadhyay ji to making such a new innovative topic because earlier the Kutumbakam was refined to some well-defined sectors. But after having the active support from Shri Chitran Chattopadhyay, now we are making our remarks into different unconventional sectors. So I must give a thankful to Shri Chitran Chattopadhyay ji, all the speakers, the chief guest also, for a wonderful session we will expect you to have. With this, I convey my heartfelt congratulations to all the participants. Wish you good luck for the program. Thank you very much. Over to the control room. Thank you. Madam, please unmute. Please unmute, madam. Madam, please unmute.
Thank you, President Sir, for your thought-provoking deliberations. Thank you so much. Now, we are having the chief guest, Sri Shamit Niyogi, with us. Before handing over the microphone to him, I just want to have a brief about Mr. Niyogi. Mr. Shamit Niyogi is the General Manager, Credit, West Bengal State Cooperative Bank Limited. Born and brought up in Steel City, Durgapur, West Bengal, he pursued his BCom honors from Durgapur College in the year 1994. Afterwards, he completed his erstwhile ICWA, now CMA, in the year 1997. He started his professional career in Mumbai as finance manager of a reputed private sector company. Afterwards, joined as an officer in the West State Cooperative Bank Limited in the year 2000. Out of 25 years of his total experiences and almost 23 years with rural cooperatives, we are eagerly waiting to share some of his experiences in the cooperative sector today. Over to Sri Shomit Niyogi sir.
First of all, am I audible? Okay, thank you. Uh, Honorable Chairman Chitranjan Chattopadhyay sir, Vice President sir, President sir, and Srinivasan sir. All are much more senior to me. So with all gratitude to them, I welcome all the participants in today's discussion. I express my gratitude to the Institute of Cost and Works Accountants of India for giving me the opportunity to be present in this webinar. Today's topic is incubating and nurturing the ecosystem, cooperative ecosystem, progressing towards the sustainable economic development. Now the question is, why this nurturing and cooperative ecosystem is necessary for progressing towards the sustainable economic development? As we all know that Cooperative Societies Act was enacted in the year 1904, that is in the year 1904, as a state policy. From then onwards, in today, the cooperative system is the biggest cooperative system. Indian cooperative system is the biggest cooperative system in the world. 100% of the villages in India are covered through cooperative organizations or through cooperatives. There are around 96,000 packs, that is primary agricultural cooperative societies, with total membership around 13 crores in India. In fisheries sector, there are 21,000 odd fisheries societies with one apex society, with one national level societies, 132 district level fisheries societies, and all that. In dairy sector, we know that Amul is the cooperative, is the brand of India. In a dairy sector also, there is 73,000 odd primary milk producing cooperative societies in India. In MSME sector, there is no less. Cooperative presence in India, all over India, is very much. In weavers, there is cooperative. In sugar factories, there is cooperative. In industrial cooperative societies, is very much there. So cooperative is a lot. Cooperative has a lot for the economic development, particularly in rural India. However, in urban sector, there is no less contribution for the cooperatives. There is a consumer cooperative societies, the housing cooperative societies for affordable housing. Realizing that the nurturing of cooperative is very much important for sustainable economic development, for all around development. The Union government, the government of India, has created a new ministry for cooperation with a vision to achieve the prosperity through cooperatives only. Certain initiatives have already been taken by the newly formed departments within this short span of time. These certain initiatives are: Government of India has already been decided to computerize the 65,000 packs for computerization. Preparations of model bylaw for revamping the cooperatives to work them as a multifunctional cooperative societies in all over India. Also, the initiative has taken up for setting up the cooperative data. National cooperative policy has also been taken up for formulations and all that. With these, the government of India is thinking for organic certifications of all cooperative products. Cooperative export houses have also been taken up by the Amul, IFCO, CRIFCO. These are the brands of the cooperative already established in not only in India but all over the world. In the changing environment, that is the very reason, in the changing environment, we as a CMA having an opportunity and scope for more opportunities and the scope for the new entrants in these professions, in our professions particularly. That is, in coming days there will be a more accounting professionals that will be required for these number of cooperatives in rural areas particularly. In India there are 351 DCCBs and 33 STCBs, that is a state cooperative bank with a huge customer base. The practicing cost accountant has always having an opportunity for the stock audit and revenue audit and all these forms. The GST certifications, the GSTs are now, these practices are following by all the cooperatives and institutions. So there is always there is a prospect for the newcomers for GST certifications and all that. In cooperatives, as we all know, that we are the basically the cooperatives banks are working as a bank now. The cooperative banks are now under Banking Regulation Act. So there is a lot of scope, like NCA return submissions and all that. So in coming years, our functions, revamping of cooperative societies, what initiatives has taken by Government of India, will open the new horizon for the new people coming into these professions. With this, I hand it over to the panel for continue the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We have been awarded, we have been educated by your vast experience. You have shared so many things, and specifically, you have told about the role of the cost accountants. We are very much educated by your thought provoking, nice deliberations. Thank you, sir. Now, I am requesting to the guest speaker of the day, CMA Srinivas Raghavan, sir. I just want to hand over the mic to him, but before that, I just want to tell tell about his background. CMA Srinivas Raghavan sir is a BFSI expert, basically trainer and mentor with a rich experience about 4 decades. He has the unique distinction of working in public sector, private sector, rural sector, and also in the cooperative sector. So, a fellow member of the Institute of Cost and Management Accountants India, a versatile banker, finance professional, mentor, and trainer, handled leadership positions in diversified fields in reputed financial institutions for 4 decades, including State Bank Group, IDBI Group, Basics Group, Dhanalakshmi Bank, KBS Bank, NKGSB Bank. Presently, sir is working as CRO of Arman Group, Ahmedabad, a listed company. Have been a guest faculty and advisor in Apex training institutes in various subjects. Have been part of top management committees of risk, credit, treasury, ALM, etc. He has recently written a book on infrastructural financing published by ICMA. We are thankful to you, sir. Now, I just want to hand over to you, sir. Please proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Respected dignitaries, Chairman sir, President sir, Vice Chairman sir, Samit Niyogi sir, and other dignitaries. I have been asked to talk on the cooperative sector. I will not go to the heading. Everybody has talked about that. And there can be some overlapping on my topic because many of you have addressed some of the points, but still, I will be talking mostly on the basics of cooperatives, then how it has evolved right now, what are all the incentives being given by the government, the tax reforms by the government, and then the contribution CMA can play around in that. These are all the major topics this I will be discussing on in this 90 minutes or so, whatever time I have been allotted. This is everybody, and let me go to the presentation. And Is it audible? Is it visible?
No, not visibility is not there yet, sir. Audible.
Okay, let me see that. Now it is there.
Yes, yes.
Yes, 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 sir. Yes.
Now you go to the slide mode.
I hope it is visible now. Okay. So I will start from the basics of cooperatives. In fact, I had told Chitranjan sir that this may be a first of the series. Might be I may have to address later on also among the gathering on the cooperative sector. Friends, I have been, before going into these details, Sumita madam has already talked about myself. My experience in cooperative sector has been mainly there for the last 4 years. And I have been part of major cooperative policies and all that stuff. I was also part of the NAFCUP to evolve a policy for them as well. I will come to that later on. And I have been part of the NKGSB Cooperative Bank, which has around about 14,000 crore of business. And I happened to be initially the chief general manager and subsequently raised to the level of the managing director of that particular bank. I have been involved in almost the entire systems and procedures of the bank and also on framing the policies and as well. So I do have a practical, somewhat a good knowledge of the cooperative system because of my association with the NAFCUP as well. Now I will go to the my presentation part. Everybody knows what is a cooperative. Still, it is a people-centered enterprise. In simple terms, it is a people-centered enterprise owned, controlled, and run by and for their members. Every cooperative person has to become a member. The cooperative will be owned, controlled, and run by themselves, they are the members, for their common economic, social, and cultural benefits. It is mainly for their common economic, social, and cultural benefit. It is a form of getting together of the members in a democratic and equal way. It is a more of a democratic formation of members, and they come together for a specific purpose. The last one is more important. Members share equal voting right regardless of the amount of capital they put into the enterprise. This is also equally important in a cooperative. Amit sir has already talked about the importance of cooperative movement. Still, if you look at it, 8.55 lakh out of the 30 lakh cooperative societies in the world are from India. If you look at it, it's around about 30%. 30% is by Indian cooperative societies. 8.55 lakh. It's a huge thing we are talking about. He has already had told about the 13 crore people we are catering to. 13 crore people are directly associated with that. 91% villages in India have some form of cooperatives working in them. Our aim is to become it 100%. I will come to that later. At this point of time, the data says that 91% villages in India have some form of cooperatives working in them. And let me also tell you that all these data are government data. So it is authentic. The next one is the very much important, and we are really talking about this very much only because by 2047, the government of India, by 2047 means 100 years after independence, by 2047, we want to make the cooperative movement to be at its peak in the country, So this is not an easy task to make together all the villages, all the cooperatives to come together, but the government has taken a mission to make it vibrant cooperative movements. By 2047, they want to be in its peak. This is the most important thing. Government aims to make 70 crore underprivileged persons financially self-reliant through cooperative. This is the aim of the government. They want to make 70 crore underprivileged persons financially self-reliant. Financially self-reliant means They want to make them independent in their finances through cooperatives. They want to make it come out of the poverty line. 70 crore means more than 50, roughly more than 50% at this point of time. Earlier it was 130 crores. Right now it has gone crossed 140 crores our population. So 50% of the population will be financially self-reliant through the cooperative system. This is the aim of the government. More than 12% of the world's population is associated with cooperatives through more than 30 lakh cooperatives. 12% of the world's population is associated with cooperatives through more than 30 lakh cooperatives. Of that, 8.55 lakhs is in India. Sumit sir has already talked about this. Among the 300 largest, very, very important thing, among the 300 largest cooperative societies of the world, 3 societies are from India. 300 largest cooperative societies of the world, 3 societies are from India. He has already told that Amul, IFCO and Kripco. Amul, IFCO and Kripco. These are all very high advanced cooperative societies in India, and they are among the largest cooperative societies in the world. And this is a credible achievement from India to that effect. And the way they manage the show, I am from a place where Amul is there. I am near to that. I am staying in Ahmedabad, but I have gone and visited that place, and I am privileged to go there. The movement here is to be seen rather than to be told. It's very, very important here. And Gujarat and Maharashtra, where I have spent most of my days, are into the cooperative movement. And you cannot, nobody, in Gujarat, you name it, everybody knows Amul. Importance of cooperatives in India. This is what the present government talks about. The present government talks about the movement of cooperatives, importance of government. This is not my words. This is the government words. It is an organization for the poor, illiterate, and unskilled people. It's an organization for the poor, illiterate, and unskilled people. As I told some time back, we are in the moment to make 70 crore people self-reliant. It is an institution of mutual help and sharing. As I already told, cooperative is an institution for mutual help and sharing. It softens the class conflict and reduces the social cleverages. So social cleverages and class conflict, it avoids. It overcomes the constraint of agricultural development. Let me tell you, the contribution of cooperatives to the agricultural sector has been exemplary. And in the next few slides, you will know that it overcomes the constraints of agricultural development. And this is one of the agricultural movement is done through the cooperative system. And that has helped to increase the productivity and skill development in the agricultural sector or agrarian sector. It creates conducive environment for small and cottage industries, not only agriculture. You name the small scale industries. As Sumit sir was talking about MSME industry, it helps the environment for small and cottage industries. Again, in Gujarat is a vibrant state wherein the small and cottage industries are thriving like anything. Maharashtra, if you look at it, the sugar cooperative sector belt has gone like anything, grown like anything rather. It is very easy to talk all this, but very difficult to implement. But cooperative sector, if you look at it, has implemented all this. 7 vital parameters. The prosperity the cooperative sector is achieving is through these 7 vital parameters. Very, very important thing. The prosperity the cooperative sector is achieving is through 7 vital parameters. As I told you, is mutual sharing. People 4P and 3E. Very, very important, 4P and 3E. People cooperating with people. This is one. That is a mutual sharing. Production by people, agricultural produce, sugar produce, everything, milk produce, dairy produce, production by the people. Predominance for people before profit, predominance of people over profit, people before profits. Here, everything is by people, people cooperating for people, production by people, people before profits, and profit, if at all anything is there, is with purpose, and that is being divided between members. Profit is what with a specific purpose. For the purpose is normally for economic development, and increasing the productivity or everything for that matter. So 4 P's are very, very important. I will repeat once again: people cooperating people, production by people, people before profit, and profit with purpose. And 3 E's: by removing conflict, by working for together, the ease of doing business is always there. We always talk about ease of doing business. This is, if you come to the cooperative sector, they may not be that much educated, but their skill level is so good, their mutual cooperation is so good. We need not talk. You can go and see the ease of doing business in the cooperative sector very much. By mutual faith, by mutual dependency, they do the business. They do their living also, ease of living. And the last one is ease of cooperation and access to opportunities. So ease of doing business, ease of living, and ease of cooperation, access to opportunities. Friends, please remember this 4 P's and 3 E's. This is the main crux of any cooperative movement and any cooperative organization. Everything would be there. You will not see in other type of business. In cooperative business, this is the crux. Now, we have already talked about this, but still, as I told you, there will be always overlapping whenever we talk on the cooperatives. But always look good to know which are all the major cooperatives operating. Amul, everybody knows. The place where I am right now living, Gujarat, is famous for Amul, but it is a world famous product at this point of time. As I told you, it is among the 300 largest cooperatives in the world. Next is Karnataka Milk Federation. It is the second largest milk producer in the India after Amul. And it is called Nandini. Nandini, its brand name is Nandini. That is also one of the big cooperative organizations. Horticulture Hopcoms, Horticulture Producers Cooperative Marketing and Processing Society, based out at Karnataka. This is also an important cooperative society. India Coffee House, I'm sorry, it is not House, it is House. India Coffee House, which is, you know, anything. I don't want to talk on that. India Coffee House means everybody knows. For a cup of coffee, most of the people go earlier days to the India Coffee House only. Indian Farmers Fertilizers Cooperative Society, IFCO. That is also, IFCO is, and Krishi Bharat Cooperative Society. This IFCO and CRISPO is, besides Amul, are the largest cooperative societies India has among the 300 largest cooperatives in the world. Lijjat Papat, you name in Maharashtra, everybody will know. Other people also nowadays know that. These are all the major cooperatives to come. Please, I mean, there are many are there, but I thought just to name some. When you are talking about a cooperative movement, without these organizations, the cooperative movement cannot be there. That is why I thought to mention this in my presentation. And it is all, and the contribution by them by way of produce, dairy produce, or by way of fertilizers produce, or manufacturing produce, the employment generation, the economic development activity of these companies is immense, and it is through them the cooperative sector has evolved like anything. All the dignitaries have been talking on this. The present government has set up a Ministry of Cooperation on 6th July 2021. When you are setting up the Ministry of Cooperation, or when you are setting up a ministry, that shows the importance the government wants to give to that movement. That shows the attachment or the focus the government wants to do on this. When they said that in 2047, they want to make the cooperative movement at its peak, that means they mean business by setting up the ministry. With the objective of Sahakar Ki Smriti, that is prosperity through cooperatives, deepening cooperative movement in the country and develop it into an economic model. This is the objective of this particular ministry. Sahakar Ki Smriti, that is prosperity through cooperatives, that is growth through cooperatives, deepening the cooperative movement. Cooperative movement was already there. It is not that it was not there, but to give a fillip to the movement, the ministry was set up and developed into an economic viable model. Economic model means economically viable. It is not in losses. Whatever is into losses, they want to convert it into profit and make it economically viable, to make it contribute to the economic development of the country and to make it sustainable development. That is what we are talking about today. So this is where the Ministry of Cooperation has put its foot. Mandate of the ministry. They have already talked about the mandate of their business, what their ministry is going to do. General policy in the field of cooperation and coordination of cooperation activities in all sectors. There will be a policy involved in the field of cooperation and coordination of cooperation activities in all sectors. You have to have a vision to make it prosperity through cooperation, prosperity through cooperatives, from cooperation to prosperity, strengthening of the cooperative movement in the country and deepening its reach up to the grassroots, to the bottom level of the pyramid. They want to have the cooperative movement set in. It is not that only at the top layer they want it. The government has already said that and already in action to ensure that the cooperative sector movement is at the grassroots level. Once the grassroots level people are involved, then anything can be done. That is what I have also seen, and this is what the government is also looking at. Promotion of cooperation among members, including the spirit of responsibility. So when there is a mutual cooperation, when there is a sense of responsibility, all this will happen. When there is a sense of responsibility, all this economic development will happen. That is what they are looking at. Creation of appropriate policy, legal and institutional framework to help cooperatives realize their potential. Friends, I am coming to that later on in the later slides. Here, as cost and management accountants, we can play a very important role. Creation of appropriate policies, legal and institutional framework to help cooperatives realize their potential. Even though I do have a job and I'm very much busy in almost every area, I am also involved in policy formulation of many cooperative societies in Maharashtra. And I also help them out in the legal. I'm not an LLB man. Still, I help them out in the legal and institutional framework because I do have a good knowledge of the policy. I do have the good knowledge on the compliance side and all that stuff. I helped out. Like this, many CMAs can play a very, very important role in this. Very, very important thing. Probably we can take up with the government and then say that we can participate in this to help out many of the cooperative societies. Matters relating to National Cooperative Organization. National Cooperative Organization is involved in policy formulation and its implementation and guiding the cooperatives. National Cooperative Development Corporation. Incorporation, regulation and winding up of cooperative. This also happens. If you look at the cooperative sector, I will come to the details of we are talking about the development of cooperative societies, the development of the cooperative banks, the merger of the cooperative societies, merger of the cooperative banks, etc. if you look at the data specifically, nowadays it is the years of consolidation. Let me tell you very clearly, it is the years of consolidation. Gone are the days of branch opening like anything. Now it is the years of consolidation where the small merges with the big, or the big absorbs the small, and helps the cooperative movement. Normally what happens, if a cooperative society or a cooperative bank is into losses, it is into huge, there can be capital erosion, the survival becomes difficult. But nowadays that is getting merged with other cooperative banks or other cooperative societies, and that helps to flourish out. You know that PMC Bank, there was a fraud happened in the PMC Bank. The bank was almost into liquidation and all that stuff. That was taken over by Centrum, and then now it has become an Unity Bank, and most of the employees got absorbed over there. So their job opportunities, which was actually they were thinking that their jobs will go, they got into jobs and all that stuff. This is one of the classic examples. Friends, let me also tell you that in that also I was involved to some extent as a CME for the valuation, for many valuation purposes and all that. I went into, I helped them out in some cases and all that stuff. It is not why I'm saying this thing is, it is not that I'm doing it. I'm saying that any CMA can do this. That is what I'm trying to emphasize here. It is not to say that I can only do. Training of personnel, this is my passion. I have been doing that, but still training of personnel of cooperative departments and cooperative institutions, this can be taken over, and this can be done by the CMAs as well. A good number of CMAs do have knowledge to do the trainings, and training of personnel of cooperative departments and cooperative institutions. They require the skill set needs to be upgraded in an era of digital funding or digital financing and the technological development. Training of personnel of cooperative departments and cooperative institutions is a must. The government has taken up the task, but for that also CMAs can play a very, very important role. Now, types of cooperative societies. Everybody knows it. It is not that anybody does not know that, but still, to brush up your memory, I'm just giving my thoughts on that. One is the consumer cooperative society, the marketing cooperative society, cooperative farming society, producers cooperative society, housing cooperative society, and cooperative credit society. Everybody talks about cooperative societies, but we need to know the major types of cooperative societies. That's why I had put this slide. Consumer cooperative societies, it is for the consumer. Marketing cooperative societies, they market the goods, distribution. Cooperative farming societies help the agricultural produce. Producers cooperative societies, it is for the manufacturing farming producers cooperative societies. Housing cooperative societies, you know what it is. And cooperative credit societies, wherein they play a very, very important part in giving credit to the various cooperative members. That is this thing. So these six are the major cooperative societies in which it is focused. The types of cooperative societies, again, I will specify: consumer cooperative societies, marketing cooperative societies, cooperative farming societies, producers cooperative societies, housing cooperative societies, and cooperative credit societies. Friends, these societies play a very, very important role in the economic development of a country. We are talking about 8.55 lakh cooperative societies, which I told you some time back. This is classified in these type of forms. 8.55 lakh is classified into various categories, which I am talking about here. And this is not a small number. It is managing is not an easy task. For me to talk in 1 hour, everything is easy, but actual managing requires a lot of skill, lot of managerial skill, and that is where the CMAs can also play a vital role. Now, I'm slowly going to the important activities. different cooperative sectors at a glance. Different cooperative sectors at a glance. If you really look at it, dairy, housing, sugar, labor, fishery and allied, livestock and poultry, textiles and handloom, agro process and industrial, women, multi-state, multi-purpose, service sector, tribal, state credit union and others, credit and banking. These are all the major sectors. There is also marketing is also there, but these are all the major sectors in which the cooperatives are involved. Please understand that these are all the major sectors. This 8,55,000 I was talking about is involved here. If you really look at the percentages, the maximum percentage is the last one, the credit and banking, and let me tell you, this data is sometimes slightly stale, 2 years back data, but still it holds good. It is not that it has gone though it is 2 years old. This is the government data of 2 years old, but still this is actually important data. Credit and banking is around 21%. Next comes dairy. Next comes housing, 17.83%. So first is credit and banking, 21%. Then housing comes 18%. Then comes dairy, 17.79. State credit union and others comes 17.69. These are all the major sectors in which it is there. The other sectors are also there. Sugar is also there. But having said that, if you really look at the contribution on them and the development which is happening in the cooperative sector, increasing day by day, it is in the credit and banking, dairy, housing, and state credit union and others. These are all the major sectors in which the increase is happening day by day. And the contribution of other sectors are also equally important. There can be some changes in the percentage now, but having said that, I want to take only reliable data of the government. That is why I have gone for this data, which is slightly stale, but still this gives a fair idea as to where it is. That is why I want it important. I want to stressing it again and again because we are going to concentrate more on the credit and banking sector and the housing and dairy sector from now onwards. Credit and banking sector is very, very important. Now, structure of cooperative credit institutions. Everybody might be knowing all this, but still, I think we need to know what it is before really jumping into so many other things. One is the cooperative credit institutions. As I told you, credit and banking contributes around about 21%. It will increase by now, but right now, cooperative credit institutions are classified into two: agricultural credit institution and non-agricultural credit institution. Cooperative credit institutions are classified into two: agricultural credit and non-agricultural credit. Now, we will mainly the agricultural credit only we will be concentrating on. Agricultural credit can be short-term and then long-term. Short-term credit institutions and long-term credit institutions. While short-term credit institutions are mainly the state cooperative societies, central cooperative banks, PACS, primary agricultural credit societies, short-term credit. Long-term credit institutions are mainly the land development banks. Okay, land development banks give the long-term credit. So we will be mainly concentrating on agricultural credit. On that, there are two: short-term credit and the long-term credit. Short-term credits are being given by the state cooperatives, the central cooperative banks, and the primary agricultural credit societies. Now, Sumit sir was talking about the number of cooperative banks. This is also taken from RBI. Again, it is 1 year old data. The number of cooperative banks, total number of cooperative banks is 98,042. 98, it is round about a lakh. 98,042. And if you really look at it, we are always talk about the UCBs because they in volume they are high, but the contribution of rural cooperative bank is very, very important. Of the 98,042, 96,500 are rural cooperative banks. Sumit sir was talking about that CMS. If you are willing to go to rural areas, it will be very good. This is the place what he is talking about. Rural cooperative banks, 96,502, and they require skill set. Now, let me tell you very clearly, rural cooperative banks, besides the urban cooperative banks, require the skill set, and CMAs can play a vital role. Urban cooperative banks is only 1534 in number, and rural cooperative bank is 96,500. Of the urban cooperative banks of 1534, scheduled UCBs are only 53. Non-scheduled UCBs are 1481. Scheduled UCBs, we can play a vital role because most of the positions in scheduled UCBs, CMAs can contribute a lot. If you look at the rural cooperative banks, long-term cooperative banks is very short, only very small, 615. Short-term cooperative banks are a lot, 95, around 96,000 is there. Almost everything is in the short-term rural cooperative banks. This scheduled and non-scheduled UCBs has multi-state and single-state. Multi-state means they operate in different states. Single-state means they operate in one state. Friends, let me tell you, in case of a single state, it is the State Cooperative Act which comes into play. In case of multi-state, it is the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act which comes into play, besides the Banking Regulation Act. I am talking about the Banking Regulation Act, RBI Act, and the State Cooperative Act plays in the single state. Banking Regulation Act, RBI Act, and the Multi-State Act plays in the multi-state cooperative scheduled UCBs. The same is the case with non-scheduled UCBs, where multi-state and single state. Long-term, SCARDs are there, primary credit agricultural development banks, that is also there, PCARDs are also there. Short-term, this is the where state cooperative banks, district central cooperative banks, and primary agricultural credit societies are there. These are all the three. The last three are most important, and the first two are also equally important. And the first four are also equally important. First four and the last three are the most important. Multi-state scheduled UCBs, single-state scheduled UCBs, multi-state non-scheduled UCBs, single-state non-scheduled UCBs, state cooperative bank, district credit central bank, primary agricultural credit societies. All these play a very, very important role in the funding of the rural masses and also its economic development. Funding of the rural masses and also its economic development. And only by these banks funding the rural masses, the cooperative masses, the economic development of the members, the lower pyramid of the members can grow up. And we are talking about 70 crore of the Indian population to come be above the poverty line, to have the proper skill set, to make them financially self-reliant through this cooperative banking sector or through these credit societies. This is the most important thing what we are talking about here. Now, some time back, I was talking about the consolidation part. The consolidation part I was talking about. I was saying that many small-sized cooperative banks were not able to survive even the pandemic, not able to survive even the demonetization. Their capital was not adequate. So, many cooperative banks either got cancelled, the license got cancelled, or it got merged. Many banks went for the merger. And if somebody is really thought that the cooperative banks, because of its economic development, the number of branches will increase, that is a falsification of the statement. It is actually coming down. Look at the number of It is in 1926 was the figure, sometime in March 2004. And March 2004. Why this March 2004? Sumit sir has already talked about that. The cooperative movement started during that time. He's already told that. 2000, and so I mean, actually, it is not. It is 1904. This is March 2004. I am very sorry. And that is cooperative movement started in 1904. This is March 2004. 1926 cooperative banks were there. Now, if you really look at it, as on March 2021, it has come down to 1534, round about a reduction of slightly below 400. Slightly below 400, it is there. I think it is 392 or something. Yeah, 392 UCBs has come down. If you really look at it, the number of UCBs coming down, it was earlier 54, 19, 40, it came down 43, 49, 47, 29, 27 down. Now it is flattened round about 5. Every year it is coming down. So this is the state of affairs of the UCBs here. Please understand, friends, they are either going for merger or they are winding up their business. But having said that, majority of the big banks are taking over the small banks. So it is not actually license going out. It is also merger also is happening nowadays. It is not that everything has come down. Okay. This will make you understand what it is. The data, I was trying to get a data in 2022, friends. I could not get the data. But having said that, this will give you a realistic picture of what is going on. This is immediately after the pandemic. Please understand that I am talking about March 2021. Not immediately after. It is during the pandemic, I can say. 2021 is more of pandemic only. Okay. But COVID pandemic, we are during that time, you will not believe, friends, we are talking about 74 plus 35 plus 27. Total mergers has happened. 74 plus 5, 70, 79, the 109. Around 136 UCB mergers has happened in 2021, 2020-21. The figures are going like that only nowadays also. So in the mergers and all that, there is a lot of valuation we have to do. There is insolvency and liquidation process also might be there sometimes. There will be mergers happening, amalgamation and all that stuff. Price ratios and other ratios we have to find out. Please understand the knowledge of CMAs in this regard is very much immense. And if they had really known that, they can contribute a lot. In Maharashtra and Gujarat, Maharashtra, if you look at it, 74 mergers has happened. Gujarat 35, and the rest of India, it is there. To talk about Punjab, Telangana, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. These are all the states. But having said that, mergers and consolidation, CMAs can play a very, very important role. By mergers and consolidation, friends, actually has helped revival of the cooperative banking sector. Revival of the cooperative banking. This is very, very important. I would have probably, some of you would have seen that, I am a mentor and also a trainer in the Reserve Bank of India, College of Supervisors, Reserve Bank of India. I am actually trainer for the College of Supervisors of Reserve Bank of India. I take the classes mainly for the supervisors of cooperative banks and NABARD. We are talking of the supervisors of Reserve Bank of India and supervisors of NABARD who supervise the cooperative societies and branches and banks. For them, I take classes. I always talk to them on the compliance part. I always talk to them how to look at the balance sheet. I'm talking for the supervisors of Reserve Bank of India, friends. How to look at the balance sheet. What are all the compliances you should see when you go to the cooperative banks? What are all the compliances you should see when you go to the cooperative societies for audit? And what are all the things you should look at the time of merger? Friends, these things comes by knowledge and experience. And as CMS, anybody can play a vital role in this regard. If required, I can play a role in training our CMS itself as to how to go about it in doing in other companies as well. That also I can volunteer myself. But this is not a place where I need to brand myself, but I'm trying to say that anybody as a CMA can play a vital role in these mergers, in this cooperative movement and cooperative development and all that. See, if at all, supposing, let us assume for a second that all these 136 instead of merging has wound up. So the economic activity would have stopped. The employment of these people would have gone down. Many people would have lost jobs. But right now, because of the mergers, many of them still jobs could be revived. Okay, they might be having some relocation issues and other things, but at least the job security they could get and revive the cooperative sector. So this is a very, very important thing happening. Though on the face of it, you might say that the merger is resulting in the number of banks coming down. But I feel that the consolidation is for the good of the cooperative development. And CMAs can also play a vital role in this regard. There was also this is one issue which is cropping up in whenever I talk to Reserve Bank of India, whenever I talk with higher people in the Reserve Bank of India, or whenever I take classes in the Reserve Bank of India during the College of Supervisors, many people ask, sir, why the cooperative banks are failing? I used to give the answer, sir, when there are 1,500, five are failing means it is not a failure, it is a success. Okay, so that way I always console myself and tell them. But having said that, many a times what is happening is that they lack in systems and failure. They lose the liquidity. They mismanage the funds. There is no person to manage the funds properly. In some of the small cooperative banks, they are not able to manage the funds properly. A proper treasurer is not there. Proper treasury is not there. Skill set is not there. There is a lot of NPAs forthcoming in the sector, and so their capital has eroded a lot. So this has resulted in, and also sometimes there is mismanagement as well. So RBI sometimes, because of the mismanagement, not following the RBI policies, they have cancelled many licenses to safeguard the interest of the depositors. That is also equally important. One of the social responsibilities of the regulator is to safeguard the interest of the depositors. That is why the licenses has been cancelled, and it is around about 6 in 2020-21, 5 in 19-20, but it is coming down. I mean, if you really look at it, last year it was around 4. But having said that, every year one or two are cropping up, and this should not be taken as an universally thing that because of this the cooperative sector has a dent that their money will go for a toss. It is not so. For example, PMC, everybody thought that once the PMC failed or the fraud happened, all the monies would lose. But right now, after the merger with the merger and becoming a unity bank, every depositor is being made to give. Another important thing is that there is a DICGC guarantee of 5 lakhs also for each of the depositors. So the revival of the cooperative trust, the revival of the trust in the cooperative banks has been coming through thanks to the government initiatives and thanks to the initiative in the cooperative sector. So this is also a very, very important thing. So as license cancellation, though a dent on the cooperative banks, should not be taken as a universal phenomena. It is only 5 out of 1,500. We should not take it as if every bank is doing fraud. That is not the case, and we should not look at that. Now, this is just for a comparison purpose. If you look at the red line, it is advances. and the blue line is the deposits. If you look at the UCBs, I said the UCBs are only 1,534. If you look at the UCBs, 134 UCBs, sorry. If you look at the UCBs, their contribute out of the total scheduled cooperative banks, scheduled commercial banks, the percentage of deposit is only 3.90, 3.90 as at the in 2009-10, and but right now it has come down to 3.50. So earlier the deposit share as to the scheduled commercial banks, which was 3.90, has come down to 3.5% right now. First of all, that means that the people's faith in cooperative sector deposits is slowly coming down. That is one way of looking at it. Or the other way is that the scheduled commercial banks deposits have gone up much higher than the UCB deposits. That can also be a reason. Now, if you really look at the advances portion, it is 3.20 has come down to 2.90. So advances are also, because that means that that advances given by the UCBs, the proportion of advances growth has come down compared to the proportion of advances growth of the scheduled commercial banks. This is also equally important. Now, will it have a dent on the cooperative movement? Never. We are talking about cooperative movement is diversifying now. Cooperative movement is diversifying into various sectors, and they are giving money to the needy people. Whereas scheduled commercial banks are going across the line and giving to everyone. That is also there. And one more important thing, the number of people being catered by the cooperatives, 13, we are talking about 13 crore people. It is not a small amount. It is not a small thing. So scheduled commercial banks also playing a vital role, but cooperative banks are also equally playing. But the growth of the cooperative banks compared to the growth of the scheduled commercial banks is slightly lower. And the deposits, especially after the 2017-18, if you really look at after the PMC scam, what has happened? The confidence level of the people to deposit in cooperative banks has slightly come down. Now slightly it is picking up, but I am talking about post PMC issue that has come down, and that is why the blue line is showing a sharp reduction. In 2016-17 it was 4%. Now it has come down to 3.5%, only because of this particular issue. Now, this is the most important thing in any bank, the quality of advances. The NPA ratio and the quality of advances. Look at the NPA ratio of UCBs versus scheduled commercial banks. Whereas I am taking that blue line is of scheduled urban cooperative banks. If you really look at it, the scheduled urban UCBs, the NPA was only 6% earlier. Right now, in 2021, it has gone up to 11%. So it has right now again come down to 10%, but it is anyway in that mark only. If you look at all UCBs put together, scheduled and non-scheduled, it is further high. That means the non-scheduled UCBs are also having a very good, quality of advances is very low. 6% has gone up to 12%. If you combine all UCBs put together, it is 12%. Whereas scheduled commercial banks, it is hovering around 7.5%. Right now, if you look at the data, whereas UCBs has around about 10% average, 9.5% average NPA, whereas in scheduled commercial banks, it is around about 6.5% to 7%. So the quality of advances lent by the UCBs scheduled commercial banks are much better than the quality maintained by the UCBs. This is one important thing. So probably we need to understand that we are giving to the rural masses is fine, but the credit appraisal is not strong enough in UCB. This is also creating a problem. That is why the quality of advances is deteriorating. Globally, it is improving, but having said that, 9 to 10% mark is not a small mark of quality NPA. This has to come down. This has to come down. And the provisioning requirement on a 9 to 10% NPA is much, much higher. Today, I was discussing on the estimated loss provisioning or estimated credit loss provisioning that RBI is going to implement shortly. If you really look at that estimated credit loss provisioning, if you go by this method, the burden on the UCBs will be much, much higher. Estimated credit loss provisioning if it is implemented. But fortunately, they are saying that right now they are not going to implement in regional rural banks, and only in very certain cooperative banks they will be implementing. But I am sure they will implement it in Tier 3 and Tier 4 cooperative banks. If they are implementing in Tier 3 and Tier 4 UCBs, which are all the 1,000 crore and above asset size UCBs, now then the burden on them will be much, much higher. But when we are looking at the economic development of the country, when we are looking at the economic revival of the country, when we are looking at that, I think we need to look at the quality of assets of what we are giving to the masses. We have to get back the money what we are giving, and also we need to improve the quality of advances so that the profitability of the UCBs also increase. If that is the case, naturally we need to increase the called appraisal system properly. To increase to make a proper efficient appraisal system, CMAs can play a very vital role. CMAs are very good in management accounting, that everybody knows it. The name itself talks about cost and management accounting. And we are good in management accounts. We are good in working capital computations. We are good in credit assessments. And we are good in management and accounting, management analysis, how to come out of various things. We know what is the break-even point. We only marginal costing and all that is much seen by us rather than a chartered account institute. So CMS can play a vital role in this type of banks, how to improve the quality of advances, how to look at the projects given by the cooperative societies, cooperative banks to the customers, and then suggest to them that we can give to this project, we should give only this much to the project, etc., etc. Project evaluation can be done, proper appraisal can be done, even cost reduction can be done. Many of the UCBs have a very big problem of high operation costs. We are specialists in cost accounting. We are specialists in cost reduction, and CMS can play a very vital role in this as well. Now, again, our Cooperation Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, has a vision to revival of the cooperative movement. He wants to make it vibrant. He wants to make it more efficient, more brimming with confidence, and make it at its peak by 2047. Some of these has already been discussed by Sumit sir and also by our president sir, but still, in one nutshell, if I may to say so, one of the basic things, primary agriculture, we are talking about digitalization everywhere. Chat GPT, we talk, AI and ML, we talk, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Have you ever imagined some 3 years back that even the cooperative sector is getting digitalized? I don't think. Now we are talking about that. Every cooperative bank, is most of the big cooperative banks right now are having a mobile application. The bank in which I worked, it is of top technology, and it would beat even big banks like the earlier banks I have worked. I'm talking about State Bank. So that way it is developed the mobile system. Here we are talking about computerization of the primary agricultural credit societies. Primary agricultural credit societies. And it is not easy, but we are going to do. We are talking about 63,000 PSCs. Friends, let me tell you that there are about 95,000 PSCs. So Mr. was talking about it is right. But having said that, 63,000 is the active cooperative societies. Active cooperative society is only 63,000. That is why this it has come as they will computerize 63,000 centrally sponsored scheme to computerize 63,000 primary agricultural credit societies by 2027. In a 5-year time, they are talking about 5-year time, they will be computerizing it. This includes UCBs also, credit, not only PSCs. They are going to talk, all the banks they are going to computerize, all the UCBs they are going to computerize, etc., etc. The second one is the most important thing. One is computerization, as I was talking about. The skill set development is a very important thing that has to happen. What is the point of computerization if I don't know to operate the computer? What is the point of talking about so many advanced policies and policies if I don't know to use the policy? There needs to be proper education and training to the staff. There needs to be proper education and training to the masses also. That is the members. Members also to be trained how for the economic development. What are all the credits available? How to use it? Where to use it? And also the staff also needs to be trained on various policies and procedures. What are all the facilities available? And both has to be trained. And with this in mind, the government has proposed a scheme on cooperative education training. They have already set up an institute in Bharuch in Gujarat, but they are going to set up in many states like this to take it forward. And I'm happy to share that I will be part of that cooperative education and training in many institutes. And I'm happy, and I will be more happy if more CMS join me in doing that. The third one and most important thing, the CGT MSc scheme. Collateral free credit guarantee. Here, earlier, for lending by any cooperative bank, above 5 lakhs, you need to have a security. Compulsory, mandatory. Now, we are talking about CGT MSc, where the central government guarantees the loan given by the cooperatives to the members. Can you imagine that the central government is guaranteeing the loans given by the cooperatives to the members up to certain amount? Not only, so it can be by banks, it can be by PSCs also. The government is facilitating even that to that extent, so that if they guarantee the payment and they ensure that the banks and the societies give money to the members, lend money to the members for the economic development. Fourth one is the database on cooperatives. With AI and ML going in very fast pace, national database on cooperatives. We have how many cooperatives are there, what are all the cooperatives, who are all there, how many members are there, each of the cooperative societies, each of the banks, all data. There will be a central database to look at who are all the skilled people there, what skills they have, what the members require that. It is not only the database of only the cooperative societies. even the consumers, who are all the members there, what are all the facilities the member is having, that also would be there. By a click of Aadhaar card nowadays, the place where I'm in financial inclusion at this point of time. I'm working in a listed company which is into financial inclusion. By a click of the Aadhaar card number or by a click of the voter card number from the credit bureau agencies, I can know how many loans the borrower has taken. We will be accessing to 4 credit bureau agencies by a click of a second, and we give money. We take credit decisions in a matter of 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I'm talking about a matter of 3 minutes by click of a button, seeing how much of credit he has availed from other entities. With the help of Aadhaar card and also voter card, we can identify, even PAN card also. We can identify that. This database on cooperatives will help to come to that also. New cooperation policy. Because I'm not saying that there is no shortcomings in cooperative sector. There are some political interference in some places. It has come down a lot, but still there are some influences. Without credit appraisal, sometimes the loans are given. Some societies are not managed properly. Liquidity issues are there in many societies. By evolving a proper policy, we can revive the cooperative economy like anything. This is one of the important things. You look, as I told you, 136 mergers has happened during 2020-21. It's not a small thing. It has happened because of the liquidity issues, because the small banks could not survive much. By evolving proper policy for its upliftment and its survival, cooperative development can go to a faster pace. One of the dignitaries were talking about the umbrella scheme for cooperatives. This is actually the Ministry of Cooperation. They have specified that this is actually that the ministry wants it to implement. Seed money for formation of new cooperative societies. Sometime this is also going to be given. Seed money means the money required for its formation. Cooperative societies has to form. So seed money is required. And as I told you some time back, during pandemic, many banks lost capital. Now the government has liberalized raising of capital. They can raise capital, they can raise debentures, bonds, etc. So recapitalization of cooperatives. This is also another thing which is being thought of by the government. They should not be in one activity. They should diversify their activity. That is also being thought. One cooperative, it should not be for one specific, it can be one specific purpose, but they should diversify its business. In case, let us assume for a second that they are doing farming. If they are also doing fertilizer activity as well, in case there is a lull there, the other activity can be used to their extent. Sometime back, we were talking about export promotion council for the cooperatives. This is only for this reason. Business plan development assistance. Government is willing to give business plan development assistance for the cooperatives. I don't know how many of the cooperatives had a business plan earlier, but right now we are talking about the government assisting the cooperatives to have a business plan. Can we not as CMA assist them in doing that? Definitely yes. And probably we need to take up with the government in this regard that in case if you are looking for anybody, any professional to look for the business plan development for the cooperatives, we are here to play an important part. This has to be told by our institute to them. That is also another thing which we have to talk about. Technology adoption. Definitely yes. PACS when we are talking about 63,000 PACS for primary agricultural credit societies getting into digitalization, they require technology adoption, they require technology assistance. So this has to be there. Some cooperative societies require branding. Marketing and branding normally they don't do. But if their produce has to be competitive in the market, they want to sell it over the market, they need to have this. And I am sure the government is taking enough and more steps for this development. And marketing and branding will help the cooperative development like anything. Again, coming to the mentorship and training, I told you some time back that I'm into this job. Development of leadership, managerial skills of cooperatives, training. This is more coming through the training, development of leadership, managerial skills of cooperatives. Friends, this is next one. In 2020, in 2021-22, yes, to 2021-22, I was involved in mentoring and training startups promoted by the IIT Chennai. Of that, 4 startups were for the cooperative sector. I'm talking about the southern India. At that time, it was southern India. They were concentrating more in the southern India. But I'm saying they were doing that. And I was a mentor and trainer for almost about 5 or 6 months. Innovation and promotion of startups and incubation centers. I took up their cases for funding development. I was an investment banking specialist as well. So I talked to the investors to invest money. I helped them to build up a system and procedure for their financial, how to look for finance, where to reduce the cost, etc., etc. Again, I'm stressing the word I does not mean that I'm talking about myself alone here. CMA can play a vital role. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. That is the way I look at it. So probably innovation, promotion of startup and incubation centers can be there. Development of social cooperatives. This is also an important thing for the social objective, social cause. The cooperatives are there for a social cause and social upliftment. The respected dignitaries has already talked about that. Export promotion. Cooperatives are now going for export promotion. Our fertilizers are getting exported. Our dairy products are getting exported. And many things. The startups are doing some technological innovation that is getting exported. So new cooperation policy and national cooperative database is also based on the umbrella organization. Very, very important points. I just in one shot, I told in 5 or 6 minutes, I told everything, but these are all 2 important points not to ignore. These are all very, very important developments in the cooperative sector. Anybody will be proud of to have it. Now, what are all their important things in the UCB sector or the cooperative banking sector? Now, everybody knows that there is an umbrella organization, NAFCUB. Umbrella organization means that is a self-regulatory organization. NAFCUB is there for cooperative banks. NAFCUB helps them in taking up the matter of the UCBs with the government. NAFCUB helps them in systems and procedures. NAFCUB helps in policy formulation. So, NAFCUB is an intermediary or an umbrella organization between the government, between the Reserve Bank of India, government, and also the cooperative banks. Very, very important. CGT MSE I have already discussed. CGT MSE is a collateral-free loan, which I was telling, wherein the central government gives the guarantee. They get that subsidized rates loans. One is that they get subsidized rates. The other one is the central government gives guarantee for the bank for the loans taken by the cooperative members or cooperative banks given to its members. This is third one is the most important thing which has happened in the recent past. Earlier, cooperative banks were giving loans maximum of 70 lakhs housing loan they can give. With the inflation going high and other banks giving much more housing loans. Government was kind enough and the Reserve Bank was kind enough to increase the limit for housing loan to cooperative banks in tier 1 cities, tier 1 banks to 1.40 crores. Tier 1 cities to 1.40 crores and tier 2 cities to 75 lakhs. This is also a very good development which has happened. Now, many banks, many cooperative banks are able to give housing loans at cheaper rate. Members were earlier were getting only from other banks because their loan was limited to 70 lakhs. They had to go for affordable housing only. They cannot go for luxury houses. Now they can go if they want. Rural cooperative banks are now allowed to lend to commercial real estate. Indirectly saying that we cooperative banks are also participating in the commercial development of the country, commercial economic development of the country. Rural cooperative banks are allowed to lend to commercial real estate. Earlier it was not there. The last one is the interesting thing. It is a part of the financial inclusion. Many MFIs are doing microfinance in the place where I am sitting, the company where I am right now, they are into this very much. Please understand that our company caters to around 5 lakh customers and we are doing a lot through door-to-door banking. Can you imagine that? Door-to-door banking. And now UCBs are allowed to do doorstep banking. Yes, you need to get the permission of the Reserve Bank of India onto that. But having said that, we need to know what is doorstep banking. You have to get the Reserve Bank of permission. UCBs are allowed to do doorstep banking. By doing the doorstep banking, the networking with the members, the networking with the customers will go up like anything. Networking with the customers is very, very important. By that, whatever business we are now surrendering to the scheduled commercial banks can come back. When the networking with your customers is strong, the trust develops. When the trust develops, with the soundness of the bank also in place, the deposit mobilization becomes much, much easier. So please understand that, friends, this is going to be a very important point in the doorstep banking, and this is going to play a very important role in the days to come in many banks. How many of us knows about this GEM platform for cooperatives? This is also very, very important. Government e-marketplace. Government e-marketplace. Government e-marketplace. The Union Cabinet approved the registration of cooperative societies as buyers on the government e-marketplace platform. The Union Cabinet approved the registration of cooperative societies as buyers on government e-market platform. So cooperative societies can register themselves as buyer on a government e-marketplace. Can buy produce and sell produce as well. So this is one area probably we can look at it. This enables cooperative societies to access more than 45 lakh vendors on a single platform. Follow a transparent, economic, and efficient procurement system. There are around 50 lakh products listed across 9,702 product categories and 279 service categories. So here, these cooperative societies, sometime back I told that they have to go for diversification. By registering themselves in government e-marketplace, they can buy this type of product, this many products, and then cater it or sell it to outside people. By having this government e-platform, there has been a saving by the government of around 10,000 crores in the financial year 2021-22. This is a very, very important thing. Friends, these are all another important thing. The government is taking a many steps. And for the year 2023-24, there has been a lot of things again announced by the government, much more than what has been announced by Amit Shah some time back, which I had already discussed on. This is also another thing which is going to happen. We have been given an outlay of 1,150 crores for the cooperative sector. National cooperative database is created countrywide, mapping all the cooperative societies. Again, it has come a decentralized storage capacity, which I have already discussed. This is going to be set up next year itself. To facilitate farmers to get marketing and better price for produce, what they have done, e-marketing. This GEM marketing, which I talked about, is being addressed in the budget, and it is going to go in full scale in the current year. In the current year means I'm talking about 2023-24. Government to set up large multi-purpose cooperative societies, primary fishery societies, dairy cooperative societies in uncovered panchayat and villages in the next 5 years. We are talking about by 2044 to cover everything. We have already told that 91% of the villages is already covered. The rest, many I think, will be covered in the next 5 years through setting up of all this. Now, if you look at the taxation part, this is all very, very important thing. Like the manufacturing companies under the cooperative sector need to pay tax only at 15%. Is it not very good? Yes. When there is a cash transaction for less than 2 lakhs in primary cooperative societies, there will be no penalty. Less than 2 lakhs. Withdraw cash. If you are withdrawing cash, if you are a cooperative society, there is no TDS up to 3 crores per year. This is also a very, very important thing. These are all much higher than the other people. Let me be very clear onto this. Then the last one, there was a demand from the Maharashtra state on for the sugarcane people. Their expenditure was not allowed as a deduction for computation of the income tax till the year 2016-17. Now, retrospective effect, the government has allowed that deduction, and they have allowed it as a benefit. This is also a very important thing, a boost to the sugar cooperative sector in Maharashtra, specifically for the sugar industry. Now, I will be going a bit fast because time is already 6:42, so I may have to go a bit fast, but I will take another 10 minutes. Proposed amendments in Multi-State Cooperative Act. Cooperative Election Authority is being set up. Friends, amendments are there, but it has now gone to the Joint Parliamentary Committee to discuss on that. The amendments, when it came, they wanted to go to a parliamentary committee for a Apex committee for a discussion. It has been referred to the Apex committee. This is not amendments has not come so far. But the proposals are this. They want a cooperative election authority to oversee the election of the cooperative societies. Only active members can be board members. Many a times what happens is that some of the board members are very passive and they get re-elected. They don't want that. In order to revive the cooperative banks, cooperative societies, they want only active members as per the new amendment proposed. Redressal of compliance ombudsman is being set up. Friends, I am getting many offers to be an ombudsman. And if you are an expert in cooperatives, if you know the compliances, you will also get. And this can be one area probably we can look at for redressal of compliance of ombudsman. I don't want to be an ombudsman because I'm having many jobs in hand. So I'm not doing that. But having said that, this is one area probably we can look at. Under the Act, central government may give directions and supersede the boards of specified multi-state cooperative. Includes any multi-state cooperative society where the government has any shareholding or has extended any loan, financial assistance or guarantee. When a government is a shareholder, the central government can give directions and supersede the board. When a government is a shareholder, they can direct and supersede the board of any cooperative society. This is to prevent mismanagement. The maximum number of members in a cooperative society or a cooperative bank, the board, can be 21 members and 2 co-opted members. Plus 2 co-op. Total can be 23. The 2 co-opted members can be in the field of finance, banking, or cooperative management or specialization. Here also, CMAs can play a vital role. We can be co-opted to the membership of the board. CMAs can play a vital role because we are specialists in finance. Some of us are specialists in cooperative management. Some of us are specialists in banking like me. Can be done. Increased penalties for non-filing or false return, that has to be there, and the Cooperative Act is being getting amended for that. By 2/3 of majority, amalgamation and demerger of multi-state cooperative societies can be merged or demerged. Here, state societies can merge with multi-state. Multi-state can become state. That is also there as per the new act. But anyway, there is a contradiction to that. Government, some of the members does not like that. Some of the parliamentary members does not like this, and some of the states has also objected to it. So it has been referred to a standing committee in the parliament. Now is the main thing of what I want to talk. I have already discussed a lot. I have already told about that, where we can play a very, very important part, CMA. Aid in forming and setting up a defined structure for a cooperative society. Drafting of bylaws and other agreements. Help in maintaining the books of accounts. Statutory and annual compliances. Guiding for compliance of multi-state and state cooperative act if you are thorough enough. Internal auditing, concurrent auditing, and all types of auditing except the statutory auditing. Everything can be done. Merger of cooperative societies. That also. Valuation, evaluation, due diligence, everything can be done. Dissolution, liquidation. We are good in insolvency, dissolution of cooperative societies. We can be. This anyway, I have been playing a very important part to be MD, CFO, CRO, or audit head in cooperative banks. To set up risk management department, our Cost Account Institute can play a very important role in evolving a risk management department to any bank for that matter. Risk-based internal audit for UCBs. I had already taken a webinar in this regard for us, but having said that, we can play a very, very important role. Aiding the corporate governance in UCBs. Corporate governance has to be looked at. What are all the things to be followed? When the boarding, what are all the companies act to be followed? Everything. The corporate governance procedures in UCBs can be done by this thing. We can be empaneled as valuators. We can be empaneled as stock auditors. We can be made to frame policies, systems, and procedures in banks. Prepare and implement code of corporate governance. This is very, very important. Many UCBs are finding it very difficult to implement. Here we can play a very, very important role. To be independent directors, I would love to have it, go there, to be independent directors in UCBs, big cooperative societies, and cooperative boards. Not enough. So many are there again. To be mentor and advisor to cooperative departments. We can be. To be a treasury consultant. This is very, very important. The second one which I am talking about, treasury consultant. Many cooperative banks, many cooperative societies, I'm talking about the big cooperative societies, are deficient in the liquidity management and the investment management. Here, the treasury person can play a very important role. And I have been advising a lot of people on that. Probably the CMS who knows treasury can play a very, very important thing in this regard. To represent cooperative sector in discussing with government, RBI, and other agencies, I have been doing that. Probably CMS can be do much better. To be a cooperative arbitrator in case there is a dispute. I have already told about the next one. To be appointed as ombudsman. Social audit of large cooperative societies. Helps in due diligence, merger and liquidation, which I again told. GST. Sumit sir was talking about GST. Taxation and direct indirect tax. CMAs can play a very important role. To help in pricing of produce for cooperative societies. This sometimes requires, whenever you are going for GEM, e-pricing and all that stuff, sometimes you don't know the pricing, what to quote. This can be, if you know the market, if you're very good in commodities, CMAs can play a very, very important role. Friends, future cooperative India. Cooperatives play a huge role in creating an economic model for rural India. Provides employment to the poor people so that they can live a dignified life. Every village in developed state must have PACS, milk cooperative markets, credit society, or cooperative banks. This is the vision of Mr. Amit Shah. Every village in developed state must have this, and I love this, and it has to be like that. There should be no area where cooperatives cannot reach. Aspire to take developed states towards saturation. All are Amit Shah's words. Develop the developing states and create a strategy to take backward states directly into the category of developed states. Very, very important. A very large part of the country that is economically backward cooperative is the only model that can make 70 or 80 crore people financially prosperous. I think this, if that is done, probably we can have an inclusive cooperative development of the country, and that will help a lot. Thanks a lot for this patient hearing of all of you. I hope I have covered many points, and that will be of good use to you. I'm open to questions now, sir. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's a wonderful presentations. The first maiden venture of our Cooperative Development Board
Hmm.
to the webinar. And this Webint has become a very, very, 360-degree view we have taken of the cooperative societies. Formation to, the sustainability, formation to sustainability, strength, weakness, everything you have analyzed. And most important, I think 2 slides have become very much effective for the members, perhaps. Of course, all the slides are very important. And I'm sure that when this should be going into the, it will be vital. I think in the recent past, I have never had the opportunity. Mr. Niyogi, definitely Mr. Niyogi will also appreciate that such type of exhaustive presentations on the cooperative, very seldom you will find. Mr. Srinivas Raghavan is a personality who is dealing with the various, you know, dimensional competence is huge for him. That's why he could delve this subject in a very with lucid and very easy way, simple way. This umbrella scheme of for cooperatives, I understand that is one of the most important, message for all of our members. Seed money for formation of new cooperative societies, definitely recapitalization of cooperatives, then diversification of the business of cooperatives, then business plan development assistance, assisting cooperatives in branding, assisting in marketing, development of leadership, managerial skills of cooperatives, then innovation, promotions of startups and incubation centers, development of social cooperatives, export promotion, it's a new concept, new initiatives, and the cooperative policy which is coming on the national cooperative policy, national cooperative database, all you have discussed here. And I understand that you have shown a roadmap to our department also, because our department is, single person department. Dr. Sumita Chakraborty, with his passion, she's working. But I am sure after hearing your deliberation today, definitely she will be having more, thought process in her mind as a CMA also, that how we can really contribute for the members. And another slide, the CMA is the pivotal roles of the CMA. You have mentioned that is also, all these documents. I think it becomes a terms of reference for cooperative board also. So we can take up the matter in our next meeting of our cooperative development board, when we shall be also inviting you that let us have more and more, introspection, so that we can reach to the unreached, because many cooperative sectors, they are yet to know what really a cost and management accountant can contribute for them at the grassroots level. It's fact, and it is fact that if you talk about New Zealand, if you talk
Sir,
about
just for a
Delhi,
minute, just for a minute, Srinivas,
Ah,
sir, please stop your presentation so that it will be, yeah.
so in that case, then we are talking about Denmark, we are talking about New Zealand. They are also very rich countries in cooperatives. fact, when you have talked about the Amul, you have talked about the many other cooperatives in India. Absolutely, the story of cooperatives are fascinating one, and that's why probably one a single line has become very important for everybody to understand that cooperatives may fail, but cooperation must exist.
Absolutely.
Without cooperation of everybody, it cannot be possible. In fact, we are all working in a cooperation with cooperation. Maybe the formation of cooperatives are not there. So why we can't do that? In the consortium of many cooperatives also we have seen, and many cooperatives they are definitely their financial, their management, their human resource management may not be to that extent strong because of the fact, as you have mentioned, that still cooperatives have to have take a corporate look, they have to have a professional look, and for that reason, our profession definitely have got a role to play, as you have mentioned, to be a mentor and advisor to cooperative departments, then to be a treasury consultant. Yes, and keeping in mind of our BFSI board, we are having our course on the. I would request Mr. Niyogi also that you please see that your people should be joining this course. This course is, the certificate course on credit management in banks. This is one of the very vital course we are conducting, and that is very, price friendly course, and it's a live course of 50 hours, and with an examinations they have to give. Please see that your people, those who are working, they should be sufficiently having, because all cooperatives are having all many types of courses also, because they have got own institutions. Nowadays also very much looking for that. But when you are having some exposure with a professional institute like us, we are giving some other dimensions. Maybe that may be very much beneficial for your department for risk mitigation so far as the credit is concerned, and especially now I was expecting Mr. Srinivasagavan will mention a few words that how the whole banking risk perception is changing within a year or two. Today itself, it has helped us a lot for having some, institutes representations to Reserve Bank of India on the expected credit cost mechanism which is coming. Reserve Bank of India has asked for this in the discussion paper. They have asked for their public opinion. So that in that case, the cooperative sector will also be definitely they will have to be more risk resilient, risk mitigations they have to do, management have to be done. Then to represent cooperative sector in discussing with government, RBI, other agencies, yes, to be appointed as ombudsman, right? But I think the ombudsman, definitely there are many probabilities for this, especially I know that when the cooperative came for to the other banks. In fact, cooperative is also refinancing. Banks are refinancing through cooperatives, and nowadays cooperative district central cooperative bank, and they are actually the playing the pioneering role in the ground level. But I have understood that the complaint from the customers is one of the issues that to be dealt in a very professional manner. Definitely, ombudsman can play a very good role. And another area you have brought that is really social audit of large cooperative societies. Perhaps social audit, this concept, as you know, this has by Security Exchange Board of India has already brought this idea, and this social audit, our cost accountants are also helpful because it has been felt that only financial ratios and financial information is not sufficient for any organizations to be sustainable. If they have to be sustainable, they have to go with the various data emanating from the non-financial factors also. So for that reason, I think this social audit concept of large cooperative sectors is definitely a very unique one. And due diligence, merger, liquidation, we know we have got already experience. Senior Sagaman was a part of us in one of the project, and aiding in taxation, indirect taxation. Yes, this direct taxation, direct taxation, our institute tax research community department is there. We can help through this. And pricing of produce of cooperative societies, we have got one. We'll be very happy that we have got a board on agricultural cost management, from where we are looking for some survey so that the crop pricing, because basically most of the primary agricultural cooperative societies lambs, packs, those who are there in the working in the rural areas, they are basically financing the various crops. To them, it is being financed. Of course, we have got a role to play. Taking all these things in mind, today's seminar has been an excellent program. I really convey my
Sir,
heartfelt thanks.
there is a small questions been asked by one viewer.
Yes, please
So
raise
the
this
question
question.
is, I want to ask to Subramaniam sir, can the cancellation of license be reissued? This has been asked by Sankar Raman Subramaniam. Can the cancellation of license be reissued?
It all depends. It all depends upon the reason for which the license was cancelled. Okay, so that is more important. And normally it will not be 99%. It will not be reissued. Okay,
Acha.
and because cancellation might be due to various mismanagement things. So I don't think then the trust is already lost. So it will not. So that is.
So,
Yes, sir.
so then I think there are no other questions. There people have all given a very profuse thanks to us.
Thank you,
They
sir.
have been very much satisfied about this program, and many people have wrote that this is very interesting topics, interesting discussions going carrying on. So with this, I think Mr. Niyogi, if you have anything to say, you may say, because after listening from Mr. Srinivas Raghavan, you might have some say. Please carry on.
Actually, the presentation is very live, good, and it will be certainly it will be helpful for the new aspirants, new CMAs. Entire thing has been rightly highlighted. So I do not want to add. There is nothing left to add anything. So it's very nice. It will be helpful
Right.
for the
Right.
new
Right.
or coming in this profession.
Thank you.
I think, Mr. Srinivas Raghavan, you have correctly spelled in your program that this is the first topic series. This series will continue. We will be continuously doing this program in a month, so that people can enrich their knowledge in the cooperative sectors. And those who had little knowledge about the cooperative sectors, functioning of cooperative sectors, I think it's a national duty for us also to bring people more and more in this system. Not as a cooperative, it is not only in a professional mind. I think this is one of the sectors where we have to take some passion. We have to work with the passion. We have to, because if we can help the cooperative sectors to grow, because these cooperative sectors are manned by those people. Generally, they are from the very, the strata of the society. They are maintaining this cooperative society in a very magnified way. We have to learn from them also. We have got a lot of many learnings from them. It is not that they will be learning from us. I have seen many cooperatives are run by the very, I mean, half, not so much literate people, but they are managing very well with their wisdom and with their passion. So the passion we should also have for them. And ultimately, I am sure that this movement from the Cooperative Development Board will definitely take a very good shape. And of course, we shall be requesting Mr. Srinivas Raghavan sir, you have given certain suggestions that we have to write to the government. We'll be definitely writing regarding this, as you have presented. We'll be putting before you all those write-ups, and you can also have your views so that we can reach to the government in that way. So with this, I think, so, Madam Sumita,
Yes, sir.
on the behalf of Cooperative Development Board, I convey my heartfelt thanks to all the attendees, all the participants who have participated, all our Cooperative Development Board members who have joined here also. Without their
Yes, sir.
encouragement, without their participation, this work could not be done. And the most important thing is I convey my heartfelt thanks to my president, vice president, and entire council members to be on this day. This is a memorable day for us because this the first person who went to Everest, everybody knows Tenzing Norgay. But the second, third, fourth more people, those who have gone, nobody remembers. So today's date, this date will be remembered. That 28th
Yes,
February, last day of the February of 2023, we have started our journey with the webinar. With this,
yes,
I convey my heartfelt thanks to everybody. Wish you a very happy and
Thank you, sir.
prosperous, and most important, that a very important and pleasureful professional life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.